Hey, what's up? So for today it's been a while since I last posted on YouTube, but today we are going to be applying some screen tone to one of my drawings that I have here on my sketchbook, the travel sketchbook. This is something that I'm looking into doing a video highlighting the drawings that I have here on the sketchbook, but before I do that, I just wanted to test the water, see if there's any interest in me also doing a video just applying some screen tone, to talk a bit about the technique as well. I quite like it. I quite like applying screen tone. So yeah, we are going to be looking into, I don't know why I have the headphone. We're going to be looking into applying screen tone for this drawing that I'm going to show here. So we're going to be applying screen tone to this drawing. I will talk a bit quickly about the drawing, and then we're going to discuss the technique. I might do some touch-ups on the drawing here and there as well. I'm seeing that it might need some work potentially, but yeah, let's start. So about the sketchbook. The sketchbook is a travel sketchbook from a trip that I had in Japan, based on doodles that I made while I was there. The sketchbook itself is made on a Mont Blanc sketchbook, which is good enough. I would like if it didn't have the logo here. And it's been a whole lot of fun to do this book since 2023. One thing that I started doing in this book is applying screen tones. And I have this drawing right over here that almost done. I'm not sure what else to add it. I don't want to make it too confusing. The drawing itself, this drawing is based on a drawing that I had made, first based on some initial doodles from 2023, so it's been a while. Then I made the drawing using a Mont Blanc pen in another piece of paper, and I did the drawing back in December of last year while I was on vacation, so you can consider it as the outline. So with the pen I just did this drawing right over here. Then I finally transferred this drawing, made some changes along the way, into the Mont Blanc sketchbook, and this is what we have here. A couple of the changes that I did, and I'll have a video of me drawing the original piece. Should be here somewhere. Bling. I made a couple of changes here and there on the characters, but not too much. Played around with the scenery a bit, and I added a couple of graffiti here onto this metaphorical wall. Not metaphorical, there's a wall over here, and I added a couple of graffiti that I directly took from a game that I really like, Jet Set Radio. I even have some stickers here. Yeah, so this is the drawing itself. For the screen tone, what is screen tone, right? Screen tone is, and I'll show another drawing from my sketchbook. Screen tone is this, where you apply a piece of, screen tone, right, into, after you've done your drawing, and then you cut it off using a scalpel knife to gently cut off the pieces of paper the pieces of screen tone that you no longer want or need, and you can create highlights from it. So this is one of the drawings right over here, and I think it gives that nice effect, that nice manga effect that people do enjoy. And let me just take this piece here. Perfect. And the whole book is just filled with drawings like this, and my cat. So my plan is to, after this video, I'll do a video of me going through the sketchbook. It's almost complete. It has around 60 drawings, but the plan is to make a video just describing the drawings on the sketchbook. So here, for example, it's just a scene from the, if I remember correctly, this is the Kyoto train. Inside, where I drew a scene based on a photograph that I had of the train and I added the characters here to make it fun, to make it cool. Okay. Screen tone. So for the screen tone, what is it that you're gonna need? You're gonna need, of course, a scalpel knife. This is one from Alpha Japan. And you're gonna need the aforementioned screen tone, right? Screen tone as a technique is, and I have some pieces here from previous practice. Screen tone by itself is an expensive technique manually, because you do need the pieces of screen tone. You need to buy them, and they can get expensive. We're talking around $2 to $3, maybe $4 per piece. And when you buy them, so this is an archive that I have. Let me zoom out here. Is the camera? It's not focusing. So I have here an archive of screen tone piece sheets. And you have different patterns of screen tone. So these pieces are a bit older. And the logo is, so the brand that I have screen tone is from the Leader Japan, right over here. These are actually older pieces of screen tone compared to their more recent stuff. You see the different logos here. Do I have a newer piece? Yeah, they come in these small, either small, which are called the Leader Junior, or the regular one, which is the Leader Screen. I have here some regular, the Leader Screen. This is the newest one. You see that the old ones they have a bit of a yellow tint on them, highlighting that indeed they are old. And yeah, whenever it's time for me to screen tone, I just go through this folder that I created with all my screen tones, and I have this, and I have 4 more with all the pockets, which contain a mixture of just plain screen tone as well as patterned screen tone, which is what you see here. So for example, this one could be cool for the shirt. So I'm gonna walk you through the process. So first I choose a screen tone that I am interested. So this one in particular. This one is a bit of a vest, not vest, like a shirt pattern that I think can work pretty well for one of the shirts. So I'll go here and I'll take out the sheet. This one has a more aged look. So I take out the sheet. And I close out the dossier. I'm just making sure that, and you see all this variety of screen tones. Do let me know if you'd like a video as well, showcasing all of these folders of screen tone and everything that you can potentially order from the Leader. Yeah, you can see I have a ton of screen tone. Do let me know if you'd like a video highlighting a bit more the process of actually purchasing this screen tone. But yeah, we're back on the, let me zoom in again. We're back in my drawing, and I think maybe the first screen tone that I will apply is this one here. You see the vest that this character has. So I have my screen tone right over here. Pause. Continuar. 1, 2, 3. So I have my screen tone right over here. Now we'll take it out. from the sheet. I save these plastic sheets, they are quite useful. These plastic sheets are quite useful, for example, for shipping books. That's something that I do need to do for my sketchbook. So I keep these sheets plastic, they're incredibly useful. Why put them in the waste? Plus, I think they look cool. People, I think, appreciate receiving the sketchbook, my sketchbook, I hope, using this screen tone, but regardless, I store them. And I have here my piece of screen tone. And it's transparent, so I'm not sure if it's possible to see on the camera, but you can faintly see the lines of the character that I want to do, right? So what I'll do is I'll line up more or less here, the vest is here, and I'll just cut a piece of screen tone to apply in the drawing. And for this, I'm actually using my scalpel knife. Now I take out the sticker itself. And this piece of screen tone is actually an older piece of screen tone, so the sticker is not the strongest right now, but it's for a drawing. It's for a sketchbook, I mean. It's not going to be for sale or something. So now I have my screen tone piece right over here. Then I'm gonna just put it on the shirt. Nice. Just a bit more aligning. Cool. So you see, already you can see the potential. But I think I made a mistake because I think I cut too much. No, just perfect. Nice. Perfect. So now I have the screen tone applied right over here. Now I'm just gonna cut on the edges. Why I made the decision for this particular piece of screen tone, it's because it's the most resembling the pattern that you would see on a shirt. But now I do need to cut it so that it's only the shirt, of course. It makes sense, right? You don't want a pattern, for example, where the face is. So you just very carefully and just the right amount of pressure using your scalpel knife, you're gonna cut it so that you only catch the piece of screen tone. You're trying to avoid cutting. You try to avoid cutting the piece of paper underneath the screen tone, or the piece where the drawing is actually made, right? So you try to avoid cutting that. And for that, your hand must be, you cannot apply a lot of pressure. It has to be just the right amount of pressure. Super nice. Depending on the amount of screen tone that remains after the cut, I always keep it on the side. Just try to maximize as much screen paper that you can. It is expensive. It is expensive. So you try to be smart about it. Don't waste it. Oh, don't waste it, really. Just store it. You can store it either here or, for example, what I usually do is I take out this piece that I just cut and I store it here in the original, because I might use this, who knows, for another smaller section. I don't know. And in regards to the planning, I don't plan it a whole lot. This is very much, it's very much on the moment. I look at the drawing once it's done and I decide, okay, where do I want to apply screen tone, right? Where do I want to apply it? So steady hand, right? Just cutting, just cutting, just cutting. Just cutting. So I'm cutting the hand in the bottle right here. Trying to leave the shirt. Very cool. So yeah, the doodle itself, and let me perhaps just provide some context. This one is based, so the only part of this drawing that comes from a photo is actually this sign over here. And okay, you can consider as well the graffiti drawings here. These come from a video game. This comes from the Memory Street, Omoide no Yarakusho, if I remember correctly how you spell it, in Japan. And the whole idea is to try to capture the idea of just people out and about and having a good time, just drinking during a night out. So there's nothing really very profound about it, let's say. So after I cut, I pull with my finger or the knife. It depends on how precise the cut is. Very cool. You can see here that, yeah, it looks quite nice, right? Already it's looking quite nice. You have the shirt. It gives some nice texture to the whole thing. Yeah. So if I'm not speaking too much, now I'm just concentrating on this cutting. Just deep in thought while taking out these pieces. Of screen tone. Super cool. For these more delicate pieces, you do need to be very careful. Let me zoom in so you guys can see better. Yeah, for this part, you need to be very careful to take out exactly what you want, which in this case is the sprinkles. And before I move from this part, I do need to take out this tiny triangle here for the hair. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, and also this part here before I go. This is a continuation of the hair in the back. Super cool. So we just applied our first piece of screen tone into our drawing. This part over here is for the shirt, and quite happy already with how it's looking. Quite happy already. It's looking quite nice. Before I move on with the additional parts of the drawing, let me just reinforce a couple of areas that I think are still lacking on the drawing. So for example, you see here that I have some shadows here for the the arm where the character is laying the arm, but there's nothing for the bottle. So I'm just gonna put a couple here. Couple here as well. Because the way I drew this, it does imply that there's a bit of light coming from the right because of this, but it's missing here. Okay, so I just drew some pieces of shadow. Here as well. And I'm just looking at the drawing, trying to consider what else could be needed to be added. Maybe here as well. Okay. So for example, there's a glaring error with this drawing. You might have noticed already. This chair over here, and maybe it's easier if I explain it using the drawing, but this, oh sorry, it wasn't focusing on the camera. Yeah, this drawing over here has a bit of a mistake, because these bars don't align necessarily with the drawing, with the upper. For example, here, pen, brush, the bank, or rather the chair where the character is sitting, is a bit like this, right? So this, so ideally, and I think I did this because first I wasn't thinking very much, so mistake. This feet here should be a bit higher. This one should be like this, so that it aligns, so that it's parallel to this line, right? Do I have a red pen? I have a red pen. So this should be like this, so that it aligns parallel. And then for this part over here, it's done like this, which is incorrect. It should be like this. And it's not. So there's a severe mistake on this drawing, and it's quite unfortunate. But we have to continue, right? I mean, it is a sketchbook. It's funny that this drawing, I actually thought about it quite a bit for me to now make this mistake. But yeah, I think it also had some, hopefully it had some charm to the whole thing. With this piece done, we're gonna store our lovely screen tone back into the sheets. Back into the sheet to the day where it is needed again, which could be soon or could be some other day, right? And we're gonna put it back on the dossier, on the folder where we initially took it out. There you go. It's quite hot today in Switzerland, by the way. Pausa. dois, três. Let's continue with our screen tone adventure. Now, some other areas that I potentially would like to tackle for this drawing include maybe the wall, definitely this jacket, the hair. I think the hair would be cool. The table. I think definitely the wall. So right here we are walking through this process together, right? We are choosing I'm choosing the screen tone live with you. This is not live, this is pre-recorded, but it could be live. So let's maybe, I think I have some brick screen tone here somewhere that could potentially look cool. Potentially, I just want to emphasize, might not necessarily look good. It could just be a dumb idea. I like the star one, should use it. Clouds, perfect. This one could be look cool on the texture for the wall as well. This newspaper one. I have a carrots one, not sure. So I have the puzzle, which I'm not sure if will ever be used. Don't I have a break one? I should have a break one. The censored one, which is could be potentially cool for a drawing, for an idea. Perhaps something more cheeky, as they say. The censored one actually just gave me an idea for a drawing. So I have more pattern here. So this is the pattern folder. This is not the leader. This is actually another brand called J-Tone. Maxon as well. These are quite old. These are from the Old Testament. So, Jesus, these are old. This one is cool. Not sure where I would use it, but this one is cool. Some flowers here. Lace pattern wings. Forest pattern. I mean, forest could be something cool. Lightning. So I have an idea for this one. So I'm gonna take it out, same as before. Take it out, and we're gonna go on a detour. Because I have another drawing. It's not this one. And this is something I do quite a lot. I jump from drawing to drawing. If I have an idea that needs to be, that just comes in my head, right? I stop what I'm doing and I go do it. Usually that's how it goes. So I have this, which is cool, you know, but, and apologies for the detour, but I'm actually also finishing another drawing in parallel to this one, where this one actually. So I'm finishing this one. This one is a bit more elaborate. The whole screen tone action that's happening here. Because this one has more precise cuts. This one has, it's also a bit of a story as well. I really like this drawing. I really like this. This one is super cool. So they're playing Double Dragon 3, and the whole idea is that, yeah, just at the arcade. I think this is based on a photo of an arcade that I took. It was not Double Dragon. It was Puyo Puyo, but I just changed it to Double Dragon because initially it was going to be Streets of Rage. Right? Because I played Streets of Rage more than I played Double Dragon. but I don't believe there was an arcade for Streets of Rage. I think it was only on the Genesis. So I had to pivot from Streets of Rage to Double Dragon because that one had an arcade and some pretty cool arcades as well. The arcade that I had the photo of for, I think, again, Puyo Puyo was it was a similar format but different, and by changing it to Double Dragon, I was able to incorporate the dragon motif here on the right, which I think was just cool. It just looks neat, right? It just looks neat. That's the whole idea. For the posters here on the background, I'm still deciding how I will cut it. I cut here the capsule, the gacha capsules. For the shadow, I played back and forth with different possibilities. I landed on this. I will probably have to cut a bit here, just so that it gives some contour to this character, because it's missing some contour. Yeah, but that's not what I was discussing. You see here, there's a light source here, which is the video game, right? This is the video game. And because you see that there's light radiating from here, right, in this direction, they are illuminated. And what I want to do is darken this area, here and here, and also here. Why? Because the light is here, they are lighter here, and this part is darker. It just makes sense. Just makes sense. But for that, I would use this one because there's a bit of a faint effect where it disappears that I think will just look neat. Just look neat. So I will do like this. I will cut like so. Where's my cutter? It's here. My cutter is here, so I'm gonna start. And why did I choose this screen tone? Because it has an effect where it's starting to vanish. Of course, the camera never focuses. It's starting to vanish, so it goes from darker to this, which I think plays nicely with the gradient effect that I'm trying to achieve here by double stacking screen tones. This is very complicated stuff. So here, perfect. And I'm just going to, like so, the whole character. So this character right over here, I'm just going to cut like so, and I hope I don't mess it up. No, I don't think so. Okay. Like so. Perfect. Apologies for the detour. I'll come back to the other drawing. But yeah, now I just have this idea that I want to see, because I've been thinking about this double stacking of screen tone for a while. But I didn't have yet the opportunity to flip through my screen tone sheets to arrive at this one. Perfect. Okay, so so I'll cut it and see how it looks. The problem with double stacking screen tones is that when you try to remove the piece that's on top of the first piece, usually both pieces come off. So it's a more complicated technique. It's harder to pull off successfully. I mean, that's what I've been finding out about. But I'm not sure if this piece works very well here. I think it needs to be a bit darker. So I think I just wasted a bit of screen tone paper. But I'll keep it here just in case. I think it needs to be like this. Actually, it needs to be the reverse. It needs to be darker. So again, we are going through the process together. And when I edit this video, a reminder for myself whenever editing, Marcio is editing this, to add some music, because no one will want to listen to this without some background music. It's very important. So I think the dark one works. Yeah, I think this one works better. And maybe I can kill two birds with one stone by doing this. Yeah, maybe. Let's try it out. So, two pieces of screen tone right over here. I'm gonna cut this part. Let me zoom in. Perfect. Just gonna cut this part over here. Everyone, deep breaths. Okay, now I take this piece off. Okay. Okay, nice. Does it work? Does this work? Maybe not. Maybe yes. Maybe not, maybe yes. My initial, by the way, maybe a story time while I cut this. My initial experience with screentone actually came from when I was in Japan, 2023, where I went to Sekaido, which is a store, I think in Ginza. I'm trying to remember. I think it was in Ginza, or close to Ginza. No, Ginza is Itoya. Well, I don't remember where Sekaido is, but Google. And there was just a lane of screentone. I already knew of the technique, but of course this is not something that you can buy in Europe, more or less in Switzerland, because there's no variety in Switzerland. So here's the heads up for you. You have to import everything in Switzerland. So, and then, yeah, this doesn't exist here in Europe, which is unfortunate. I think, okay, maybe this is a bit too dark, but then now I'll try to scratch it. This is something that you can also do, which is scratch. And why am I scratching? It's to give that effect of light radiating. Hopefully the camera is capturing this, the scratching technique. But yeah, I was there in the store in Japan. I saw everything. Just saw a big lane of this material available for purchase from the leader. And because right now, for a long time, ever since computers came, screen tone application is mostly done by computer, right? It's done by digitally, because it's much cheaper. It's much cheaper to do it digitally than buying 5 per sheet and then maybe you don't like what you bought or something. So I wasn't necessarily surprised to see it live, but I was happy. I was very happy. I said, okay, because I don't draw digitally, so maybe I can buy this and see, you know, how is it to use. Maybe I like it. But then I did my doodles while I was in Japan. That inspired the sketchbook, but it took me a while to actually remember that I had bought screen tone when I returned from the trip. So then I tried it, right? I had the cutter, I had everything, so I just tried it. One more thing is that you can actually draw on top of screen tone if you want to give back some clarity to your lines again. This can be quite useful. For example, do I have a permanent brush here somewhere? Because with a permanent brush I could do something, but I'm not seeing one, so I'm just going to reinforce here some lines. So I'm actually drawing on top of the screen tone to reinforce black lines. Most of the drawings here are made using a Pentel fine liner, by the way, if you want to know what pen I use for the sketchbook. So here I'm drawing on top of the screen tone, just giving back some definition to the lines that are now covered by 2 sheets of screen tone. Perfect. This piece refuses to stick, which is very worrisome. Please stick. Please, 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 please. Okay. And I'll continue just scratching. Because I want the dark part actually to be more here. And for the scratching, you just hold the knife sideways. The noise can be either grating or satisfying depending on who you ask. I think for my wife it's very grating. For myself, it's normal-ish. Not sure if you can hear the sound. Now I look at the piece, I assess, I see, okay, is there anything else that I want to change? Perhaps I want to cut a bit here. And then just re-highlight here. So I'm actually having a secondary highlight here. It's just because it is a bit too dark right now. Even though it might not necessarily make sense light-wise. This is just so... And maybe what I can do is cut just a bit. And why did I cut just a bit? It's to reveal the inner piece of screen tone. To again, now it's looking much better because now I'm not sure if it's possible to see on the camera. These are very precise cuts that I'm doing to reveal the inner piece of screen tone, the first piece of screen tone. I have to be very careful here not to obliterate that piece of screen tone. Just some light scratching again to bring out the light here. No. Okay. So now work on this a bit just to make it a bit more seamless. The transition from one piece of screen tone to the other. Super cool. Okay. Now it's a bit more... Now I like it more. Because this character here was darkened a bit. So that it just looks a bit more realistic because now it's darker here. Hopefully it looks more realistic. So now what I will do is actually just cut this piece here because it will make all the difference, I think, because it will give back highlight to this character here. So let's try doing it right now. By the way, this is Sonic, of Sonic the Hedgehog fame. Great game. You in the comments, if you've been listening so far, what's your favorite Sonic game? Right answers only. In my case, if I had to say, it would be the first Sonic Adventure. Game is incredible. If I could, I would just live there. It's quite a nice game. Played it when it came out, back on the Dreamcast. Just tremendous game. So I do try to sometimes make some mention to Sonic in my artwork. Not a lot, just a bit. I don't want to make it too obtrusive. So, but in this case, because it just made sense, because this is an arcade. This is an arcade, right? And this is, by the way, this is the photo was taken at Mr. Potato, which is a famous video game store in Akihabara. I didn't buy any Sonic games there because I already have one that I want. I did buy River Master for the Game Boy Advance, which is just a very cool game. Some more scratches. Yeah, it's just brought some additional highlighting to this character right over here. What probably would look even better is if I cut just a piece here. No, I will not cut there. I'll cut here, this background piece. So this is based on some reference photos that I took from posters that were there in Mr. Potato in Akihabara. Same for this one. I think this is Puyo Puyo related. This one is Puyo Puyo. This one I don't recall necessarily which one is it. Neither this one. Just refocusing on the camera. But yeah, Sonic Adventure, great game, completely unrelated to screentone, but tremendous game, one of the best of all time. Ignore criticism of people that only play the GameCube version. Tremendous game. Slander admitted, but disagreed. I even like the fishing sections with Big the Cat. Just the mark of a distinguished gentleman. You know, you enjoy your nice watches. You enjoy the fishing section of Sonic Adventure. Some additional cuts. Why do I remember so vividly, by the way, that this was a Puyo Puyo machine? It's because then I played on this one some Puyo Puyo. I played some Puyo Puyo quite well. I do need to add, as one of the greatest living players of Puyo Puyo. Joking, or am I? But this was some Puyo Puyo there. I played quite a lot of variant of Puyo Puyo on the Sega Genesis, Sega Mega Drive, the Dr. Robotnik game. If I remember in the editing, I'll put a photo here. Tremendous game as well, of course. And I played quite a bit of it as a kid. Some of that sweet Puyo Puyo action. Some of that sweet Puyo Puyo action. I think the AI cheats on that game. I might be wrong, my recollection, but I think they cheat. Which is the only way they could beat me, right? Is if they cheat. And I know that Sega right now is just afraid of doing a Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine 2. They are just scared, most definitely. This has nothing to do with screentone, by the way. Yeah. So we went on a bit of a tangent, right? We went on a bit of a tangent. But this is my process. I just flip-flop. I work on one, then I skip to another one, and I just go from there. Almost done with this one, I think. Perhaps I could just take out this part here. Or maybe the letters here, but that part, this can be quite hard. But I can try, right? I still have a couple minutes before my kid wakes up. One. Let's focus on this camera. For recording, I'm using a Fujifilm camera, an X-T5, which I think it's quite terrible for recording because the LCD screen doesn't flip all the way around, and just the focus is terrible. It keeps on focusing on the weirdest crap. Okay, nice. So I'm actually able to cut the letters as well, which adds a nice precise effect to the drawing. Tsubari big something. Tsubari by. So I don't know what game this is. I cannot read this kanji that I wrote here. I probably could back when I first did the drawing, but right now I'm utterly unaware. So I just cut this piece here. Does it make sense for the hat to be so dark? Especially because the screen tone is not holding on. Okay, took out the screen tone. Ooh, nice. Nice. Perfect. Yeah, that piece was getting a bit too loose on the hat. Let's get back on the letters. And I should be almost done with this video, which we didn't actually, if you notice, we didn't actually finish that other drawing that I was doing. But my limits for recording are quite strict. Right now my kid is sleeping and I don't want her to sleep too much. It's close to 2 hours of a nap. And she needs to eat her snack. So what we will do, I promise, I'll come back and I'll finish the other piece of the 3 girls drinking. I'll finish that one. We're gonna finish it together. We'll go through the process of choosing our screen tones. We're gonna only choose the hottest screen tones, the one that just makes so much sense. And yeah, we are going to make it incredible looking. Perfect. But yeah, we will be back for the other, to conclude the other drawing, because we just did a bit of a segue here to actually do a more advanced technique, which is the double stacking of screen tone, and also work on this one. This drawing of the arcade has just been stuck in a limbo for months. So it's high time that I also finish it, so that I can just conclude this part of the sketchbook. But this drawing I really like. And yeah, what are the next plans for me for this thing, for YouTube? Next plan will be, there will be a video coming up. I don't want to say when, but I think this month will be a video coming up of me going through this travel sketchbook, explaining each drawing, providing some details, some context, the technique that was used, yada yada yada, right? Which I hope you will enjoy. I quite enjoy talking about this sketchbook and all the memories that it brings to me based on those initial doodles. Then there will be a more formal instruction course, drawing course, coming up, I think on the third quarter. So a drawing lesson, me teaching you how to draw. So not screen tone related, more drawing how to draw, right? So that will be coming up. The content is almost done. So please stick around for that. I think it's going to be really cool. I don't want to be here and say, "Ooh, I'm quite excited." I'm excited, regular excited. I hope it's something that you will enjoy when it becomes available. Yeah, I'm also brainstorming what other videos I can do for YouTube. So put a comment, send me a message, whatever, for me to think, okay, what will make sense for me to publish here on YouTube. Definitely would like to be more active here on YouTube. So yeah, I guess I just need the right ideas, the right content. What is it that would make sense to publish here on YouTube, right? And also the time. Time is a big factor. I need to have the time to sit still and talk to a camera for an extended period of time, 1 hour, and then the editing process as well, which takes some time. So yeah, we're gonna leave it at this. I hope you liked it. Sorry for the detour, and we will see each other on the next video. Thank you so much.